Thursday, 7 p.m. Let's see, did I get up right away? Kinda. I had a whole bunch of dishes to do, so I did dishes. And then I decided to make a bunch of meals. So I made some cornmeal mush for 2 breakfasts. And I made pancakes for 4 breakfasts and ate one of them. Thing of pancakes. So those are in the fridge for the next 4 or 5 days worth of breakfast. And then I took some zucchini that were almost on their way out. And I cut it into chunks about 2 inches long. And I hollowed out the inside, sorta. And put the part that I hollowed out, plus some onions and hamburger and breading and egg and, spices or whatever. And made a little meatball and some rice. I made little meatballs. And I stuffed the zucchini with this meat mixture. Poured a little bit of tomato sauce in the bottom of a pan. Put the little columns of meat. And then extra meat, I made little meatballs and just laid them on top. And it has cheese in it as well. I had Parmesan cheese in it. And I covered it with Monterey Jack. And after, they were put in a pan with the lid on, or on the stovetop, for about 40 minutes. And then I let them cool, and we went to pick up Spencer. And then played out with the kids and everything. And it was time for them to eat supper. I came over and I had some for supper. It was still hot. And so I just put the rest of that away. And kitty cat's been pretty good. I talked to my friend in New Jersey today, Robert. He used to be, for 38 years, he was a bug man. Arrow extermination in the New Jersey area, Philly, New Jersey area. I told him about the moles that we had. Oh, did Spencer take the rubber band off my hair? Oh, God. Little monkey head. So I'm going to have to ask him some more questions about that. He said the moles come basically for all the bugs in the yard and stuff. But how do I eradicate? You just got to get rid of what they're coming to eat. So I'm going to have to ask him how I do that where it's safe for dogs and kids. Because he used all kinds of stuff, but he also used kid-friendly, dog-friendly stuff. Because he cared, he didn't want to get all sick with poison. And he knows that the people care. But he's been feeling kind of low. I've been feeling kind of low. So we had a good talk for a while. He's going to some kind of like therapy house where you get together with other people that are having problems. And you do fun stuff. Like you play cards or a game or paint or something that's, take your mind off of regular life. That's good. I'm glad he can do that. So, let's see. So I cooked up stuffed zucchini for supper. I'll have that for several days. That's in the fridge. And the other day I bought a key lime pie frozen thing, Marie Calendar, I think. And it has like 5 pieces left. So for the next 5 days, I'm definitely taken care of in the food department. Spencer whispered in my ear, he says, he had seen some chair yoga commercial when we were watching some video. Some chair yoga commercial came on. And he says, Nana, if you want to lose some weight, are you going to do that chair yoga stuff? He's 4 years old. And I said, I don't know if I will, but that'd probably be a good idea. I still haven't checked out that bicycle. And hopefully I'll feel like it tomorrow, because I didn't do too much strenuous stuff today. So hopefully I'll check it out tomorrow and I'll know whether or not I'm going to keep it this weekend. Well, actually, there's one set of Oktoberfest that's about 2 miles south of here, or east. in Cherry Valley. Today was free. Tomorrow I think it's $5 per grown up, and then if you're under a certain age, it's free. So if Ash and Brian and the kids wanted to go, they'd only have to pay for the grown ups. I want to go to one in Redlands. It's $10 a person, and I've been to that one before, and I know how it operates. I know where it is and all that stuff. So I'll probably go there Saturday, probably. All dressed up. But the kids are like electric monkeys. You wind them up and let them go. And now, due to the government shutdown, it's affecting TSA and flight tower people. What do they call it? Air traffic controllers are expected to work, but they're not going to get paid. They better resolve a lot of this stuff. Because, and I know it's a long time in the future for a lot of people, but May is when I go to Germany, and it better have been all worked out by April of next year for sure, or I'm going to be one pissed person. You'll never have seen a person more pissed than me if things don't straighten out. I used to think rainbows were heavy. But they're pretty light. But ching. And then some guy at open mic night, I went to open mic night, and some guy at open mic night said, you heard of Neil deGrasse Tyson? He's that black physicist guy. He goes, he puts the soul in the solar system. And I said, yes, he does. Yes, he does. It's nice to see nerds. I'm a nerd. I identify. But open mic night went okay. I'm talking about do-it-yourselfers and how I tried to put the IKEA bookshelf TV thing together and all the trouble I had to go through. And I DIY a lot of projects around here, and even in the sex department, it's DIY. And I said I've visited the porn sites so often that my computer has chlamydia. That's the big joke that got big laughs. But it was about the ha-ha of it. So I've been watching they have some program. It's an English program about painting famous people like Graham Norton or Stanley Tucci or somebody, and they pick these people out to paint the portrait to hang in the National Gallery, basically. It's a show where you get to watch these people paint and stuff. I had that on in the background while I was cooking, straightening and cleaning dishes and doing all that stuff, so you could look over once in a while. If it's something I have to know exactly what they're saying, some people talk too fast or they garble their words, so I have to put on closed caption. So if it's something important that I'm going to have to need to know, I have to stop, sit down, and watch the closed captions. Luke Beasley, he's a cute kid. He does news reports and about political stuff. But he's young and he talks very fast. Very fast. And if I don't put closed captions on, I miss half of what he says. Well, as you get older, you'll realize that the younger crowd talk very fast and move very fast and do everything very fast. And I think the reason that we slow down a bit is we have to. The older you get, you have to slow down. Otherwise, if you keep going at the speed you're going, you're going to trip and fall and get hurt. Or something. You're going to end up getting hurt badly. And Brian had to tell me a few years ago, he had to tell me, slow down, Mom. Move with purpose. And I made signs and hung them all over the house. Move with purpose. Slow down. And it helped me a lot. Because I've always been kind of hyper. Sometimes my brain still is kind of hyper, but I have really slowed down a lot. I still have impulsive stuff like, I got to have this or I got to do that, or I can't keep secrets. I would be a terrible spy. I couldn't. I'd be so excited I couldn't keep a secret. 10 minutes already. Oh, weh. So anyway, I'm sitting here and I've got some leftover fudge from the other day and my nighttime coffee. Yes, coffee puts me to sleep. It overstimulates that area of my brain that releases endorphins and it actually makes me tired. That's why they give Ritalin to kids with ADHD. It overstimulates the area that's making them hyper and it tires them out. I used to think that was weird, but that's the way it works. Somebody somewhere online is a woman, I think it's a woman, maybe it's a female impersonator, dressed up like supposedly Donald Trump's mother with this big sweeping hairdo and a kind of orange face with white around the eyes like Donald's looks sometimes. And she is blasting her opinion here and there. It's just so weird. I don't know what it's called, if anything, but you'll come across it if you put Donald Trump's mother parody. I'm so all over all that stuff. I'm just over it. You would think people would, say, okay, enough distraction, enough, we're over it. And, I was thinking about it. Someone else mentioned it that I was watching today, and I don't know who. It might have been in the Romano Report. He's an attorney as well. He said, they had all those generals in that room, and Vance and Trump. And he says that they thought they were giving an assembly, but basically it was a target. Somebody, Trump, Putin, or anybody, could have taken out all of those guys, all of them, and just would have devastated everything. I don't know. I'm really sick of it. Come on, people. Enough playing around. Enough fucking around, okay? Fuck around and find out. That's what FAFO stands for. Fuck around and find out. I'm tired of them fucking around. Fuck off. That's what they need to do. Oh, that's not nice, Shirley. I don't care. I'm tired too. Brian was falling asleep, so I was entertaining the two kids who had already eaten supper, and they were wound up like tighter than a tick, as they say, jumping on me like I'm a jungle gym. And the little one wanted to hear this one story called The Big Cheese. He wanted to hear it again and again and again. Brian said, haven't you read that already? I said, yeah, well, he wants to hear it again. His cheese is braggadocious and everything, and he says, oh, I am the big cheese. Say it with me, please. The big cheese. Ta-da! You better believe it. So when I say the big cheese, the baby goes, Sebastian goes, ta-da! He can say ta-da, he can say drink. He doesn't really talk. He says mama, daddy, nana. He says nana really well because he knows that I'll jump to it. Brian was letting him climb on stuff. He goes, if he falls, he'll learn. I'm like, man, just not too hard, okay? Don't get hurt. But I trimmed a bunch of weeds in the backyard, saw a lizard, saw a praying mantis, saw a couple lizards. Put the trash out. I was sweating and I had to kind of sponge myself off and put on a brassiere and this shirt to go get Spencer. I try to be more presentable instead of a big fat hillbilly slob. Yeah, if you take care of yourself, other people are going to want to be along with you. If you don't take care of yourself, nobody wants to be around you. And I've watched a bunch of videos that have to do with Trump and his odoriferous body, his stench. And they slowed it down and showed it over and over of these various people that have to be around him at meetings or whatever. and they're holding their breath, they're covering their nose. He's rotting. The dude, like I said yesterday, he needs to come up with some bullshit excuse why he decided he's going to retire. If it's his decision, quote unquote, then it's okay and it's not a weakness. If he's made to quit or they enact some rule or whatever, then they take him out of office. That is not a good thing for him. But if he decides on his own that, things are cool right now, I got what I need or whatever, he's set himself and his family up pretty good, I think. Even if people want to go revert back to the way it was before he came into office, he's still going to be sitting pretty. He'll have medical, food, housing, whatever. So I think the best thing for him is to come up and quote unquote decide that he's going to just live a happy life. It's not in his nature to do that, but if it was, I think it would do everybody some good. Enough said. Yeah, onward to the fudge. Yum, yum, yum. So I can go to bed. Brian had an incident. I had gotten him a big coffee cup that said World's Best Dad, and it was imprinted in the cup. I remember, people that have been watching me know that. They heard me talking about it. That it won't just wash off in the dishwasher because it's imprinted in the clay or into the stoneware. Well, I found another one just like it because it had gotten broken. He and Spencer was goofing around and accidentally broke it or something. This has been a couple months ago. So I said, I found it, Brian. I found the exact cup, and I said, I'll get it for you. So that, and I'm going to order some pants hangers. It's like a thing with 4 or 5 horizontal pieces of metal that hold pants in your closet, like folded in half and draped over the metal things. So I think that will solve some problems in my closet. I'm getting rid of a bunch of extra clothes and stuff, and I think what I'm going to do is just put bag o' clothes $2. Grab bag o' clothes. There's buttons in there, zippers in there, there's things in there, fabric if they have Girl Scouts that want to make doll clothes or whatever. It'll be good for them. And I have 2 sewing machines. I have a Singer that was pretty expensive and everything, but it just wasn't working right. So I got a cheap one, and I use the cheap one. It's easier for me to go into that closet, bend over, stoop over, and pick it out and put it back. So the expensive one I'll put in the sale. This weekend is Oktoberfest. Next weekend is a sale. Odds and ends, this and that, and I still haven't sat down to sort out my email. I have not been able to look at my email for months. It's going to be a disaster when I do. It's going to be thousands of unread emails. A lot of crap that I have to erase and get rid of. A lot. But it won't let me in. I think Meta controls it or Google. I don't know who controls it, but they won't let me in. I put in my password and it still won't let me in. So I've got to figure out what to do. I found free PC cleanup coupon from Staples. It's an office supply. I don't know if it has an expiration, but if it doesn't, that's something I'm going to have to do in the next day or two, is to take that in to be looked at. Little bit by little bit. And then I want to sort out the ticket to the concert I'm going to in Germany. I want the physical tickets, but they wanted €34.90 more so that they could mail them to me. The bank wouldn't let me do it. So I'm going to have to get a hold of them and say, how can we do this? I have like a payment receipt confirmation number and stuff, so I actually have proof that I bought something, but I don't have the physical barcode ticket or anything like that, so I'm gonna a few things to work on. But I feel much better that this room is, you can walk around in here and stuff, and it's cooler. Put the AC away, and I've got the windows open, and ceiling fan usually is on, but it's got chilly, which is nice. A little this, a little that, a little everything, and a cat on my right arm. So I'm going to have to use my left hand to sign off here. I'm so glad you're there. I'm so terribly sorry this is over 20 minutes long. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Knock, knock, who's there? Boo. Boo-hoo. Don't cry. And then you say knock, knock. Knock, knock. And I say, doors open, come in. Upward and onward.